Chuggalos, welcome back to episode 248 of the Brew Crew podcast. As you see, I just changed it up this time. I'm in the church room bar. I don't know where that bum JT is, but hopefully we'll put on a good show for you today.
Oh, my back's better. I'm back now. That was a trick. We pranked you. That was October Fool's.
October Fools.
October Fool's Day. Thanks for covering down the past 2 weeks.
JT, the episode wouldn't be unless you do the intro now.
Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 248.
248.
Yep, 248, and we're back in the church room bar.
Now it's an official episode.
We have so much to talk about. Well, first I was on a trip. Second, then my back. I think I had a pinched nerve. Couldn't move. Couldn't get out of bed. It was horrible. But I got out of bed eventually. Right? That's why I'm here.
Just today.
Just the worst.
Just today. You just started walking today.
Of my life.
Just today.
It was miserable. I thought. This is it.
Chuggalo Mom said that she liked the energy from last week, so we need to keep that energy up. I'm going to be less like a wet blanket.
I'm going to have that's what so much energy. I'm going to have all the energy.
It's not you, it's me. I'm the wet blanket.
It's definitely me. You always have the energy. So first order of business.
Number one.
Well, thanks for doing the 2 episodes. And I know you mentioned Cincinnati, but I don't know if you mentioned it as being the biggest Oktoberfest. It is the biggest Oktoberfest in the country. Now, Cincinnati, 500,000 people
by population. The other one I was talking was by length and duration, because that one is like a single day over the course of 9 days. The one in lacrosse, I think it topped out at like 700,000.
Yeah,
but it was 9 days.
Did show up in the honorable mentions when I googled it. So kudos to them.
But now they're down to
not everything's about Wisconsin.
Now they're down to 3 days.
Sometimes we just have to learn it's not always about Wisconsin. But, that's okay. Someone hates living in Ohio, the other person likes it.
It is in the NL Central. It's all about Wisconsin.
At the top, but, the wild card's still available.
Did you see that the clinching pitcher for the Brewers, this is going to be a trivia question.
Yeah.
20 years from now. The clinching pitcher that was on the mound when they clinched their playoff spot was...
Was it Tellez?
Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Some headlines for that. That's a great trivia question, actually. First time ever, right?
We'll never get it. Oh, yeah.
First time ever. Yeah, the Cubs got hot, and I didn't think that we're going to catch the Brewers in the division. I did have hope that they would, but I didn't really realistically think it. Now,
it got down to 2.5,
I'll be honest, I'm happier if they keep this third place wild card spot, because then they'll play the Brewers over instead of the Phillies.
Yeah, the path to victory is a little more clean.
I think they could beat the Brewers, and I'm sure the Brewers think they can beat the Cubs, and it's a good fight. It'll be a good, 2 versus 3 fight. Or no, division winner versus 3.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I also didn't know that last week's fantasy matchup was playoffs. I knew we were facing each other.
I didn't know.
There's no announcement or anything. And all they show on Yahoo is like a little tab that says playoffs, and you click on it, it's the bracket, but it's not even on like any of the home screens. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
So when I lost, which we talked about yesterday a little bit.
We did.
I was winning. Then we were tied. Then I lost. I thought it was just the week leading into the playoffs.
Yeah, a little bit of a preamble.
I would have tried harder.
Like going into the week, it was like, or going into the weekend, and I'm not a weekend fantasy player by any stretch of the imagination. It was 10-2, and then it was 9-2. Then Saturday morning it was 9-1 because we were tied in a couple categories. Mm-hmm. And then I woke up Sunday.
For a while.
I woke up Sunday. It was 7-4. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, but there was a couple of them that were coin flips.
They were just like the batting average saves, and stuff were going back and forth.
Yeah, saves, batting average.
It was crazy.
I went up into the weekend because I had a bunch of delays. I went up 28 points ahead in batting average.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, that one's fine. And then all of a sudden that flipped.
Yeah.
Because we were at the 250s.
I went on a run there with my good players.
Then Sunday night I had a couple of double headers and a couple of the bigger bats or whatever came out. Because they're like Stanton, by the way, is getting waived as soon as I can waive him. But he's the only one that has a game today. He's over the last 3 weeks he's bat 091.
Yeah, I've heard some bad things about him. This is the best I've done in fantasy baseball for those who care. And I really thought, okay, I'll take it to the end of the season. But then the playoffs snuck up on us, and it's okay. I wasn't going to win anyway, but
your fantasy performance was the topic of conversation today. Not baseball, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had a 48
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and it got brought up.
I picked that guy up because all of the people who are out. Montgomery's out, and I think I had the Chargers guy.
You had Cam Akers.
Oh, Cam Akers. Yeah. And he's
who got traded.
This week. So, yeah, I was like desperate, and I always read the Yahoo summaries.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this guy's a second string, but he'll play. I was like, good enough for me.
When was David Montgomery announced as out?
Sunday.
So like early, Sunday morning.
Enough for me to...
It wasn't a late
doubtful, though, for days.
Okay.
But I picked that guy up way before Montgomery. I picked that guy up for Cam Akers.
Oh, so you had him for
a week ago. Yeah.
Oh, you had...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it wasn't a Sunday day.
It wasn't
it was a conversation.
That would have been crazy if that day would have done it. No, I think I did it the Sunday before.
Yeah.
When Cam Akers officially was ruled, like, not hurt but not playing.
Yeah, because Seifert said when he wasn't going to dress up for this game.
So I got him when he was still a Ram.
Yeah.
I got the 49ers guy. Or whatever. I'm not even in the right team. Miami. Don't even know the guy's name, I'll be honest. Can't pronounce it.
Yeah, Arachnid.
So
it just reminds me of like all the magic in video games, like Arachnid.
I was looking for 10 points. You know?
Yeah,
at maximum because of the...
Guy got 48
The guy's a backup.
Yeah.
And he got more than Mostert.
Yeah, you're up by 30, a clean 30. I think it's
yeah, but I could still lose.
Yeah, no, it got brought up because the guy that you placed or beat, also named John, the fourth guy of our wrestling group, he feels very snake bitten. Like he's like everyone, and that's just how fantasy works.
But it happens.
That's fantasy
to me constantly. Yeah, or like the first week of the season, and I think it was the other league I'm in. I benched. Oh no, Swift. I think that's Swift. He in my other league, he did terrible the first week. So the second week I benched him, thinking, okay, Philly's moved on.
Yeah.
They didn't. He scored like 30-something points in fantasy, and then so now I'm playing him again. Yeah, you get bit sometimes. This was total random chance. They're mad at like me as a person.
Not mad.
Oh, okay.
Not mad because
this was a total accident.
This is he feels very snake bitten. Like he's just like fantasy football is just not meant for him. That's
how it's been for me years and years.
He just has that streak about him right now.
Yeah,
it's just like he can.
That's how baseball was for me.
Right.
I pay attention. I change my lineup every day. The past like 3 years I've been in it.
Yeah.
It's like I really try. I do trades. I do free agencies. I'll do all the waiver stuff, and I lose like 10th place out of 10. This year finally it paid off. So just stick with it, John.
I've just hit a really solid patch of fantasy between the football leagues and the baseball leagues, and to be in the championship game again. Mm-hmm. So the last 4 years, I think I've been in the championship.
Crazy. I look at your team, I study your team to figure it out.
I
did last year. It's just like, well, Acuna is obviously you're gonna win steals pretty much every week. Which was the one category I don't think you won this week, which shocked the shit out of me.
I didn't. Acuna was out for a couple of games though too.
Oh, okay.
But otherwise, after Acuna, I'm not, because do you have Ruiz? The athletic? Who has the athletic? Is that Juice?
No, not me.
Anyways, that's a lot of sports.
It's so much sports. So I had some other stuff.
That's why I was saying, look at this notebook. Look at him come prepared.
2 episodes
we're not even going to be able to drink beer today.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Also, I don't refuse to do Untapped. That was something you'd
refused.
Say. I just
abstain. Yeah.
I want to. Actually, I want to do it. I want to do it. It's just time. It's time consuming. Like
you just got to take a couple seconds.
I feel like everything's. I'm just so busy all the time that like every app click and it all has to be.
I do it while we're sitting.
It's predestined. Yeah, I know. I should do it while we're sitting. I'll do it today. What I should do is do it at my son's baseball games. But then I get so like involved in the game.
That's you don't want to take away from that.
If he's just like.
But you forget about it. And like I'm always like, even like if I'm engaged in a conversation or whatever, I'll forget about it 9 times. Especially like if I'm at Kings and then I'm rewinding like in the back of my head.
I really want to do it because I want to remember some of these beers that aren't podcast beers. That I have out in town and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I want to remember, so it's not like I refuse. It's just I don't. And I have a game, but I don't know when. It's not really a game, but we can play it now. We could play it later. Whatever. We'll do it later.
So do you have anything else in the notebook of notes besides the game?
Oh, no.
I have a couple of things. Tanks for local news here, but I've pontificated the bountifulness and the pleasure that it is at eating at Tanks. A little inside news, but now it's on the newspaper, and you'll understand why. I was talking with Steb about this earlier today. The Tanks sale has fell through. Tanks now is going to auction.
Ooh,
so,
I'm buying it.
The reason meeting up with some of the prospective previous buyers, there was some disclosures that they willfully or neglectfully, depending on withheld, and they were discovered during the due process or the due diligence of the handoff, because Tanks has been closed for just over 3 months now, and the unfortunate thing is it's no more sooner closer to reopening under whatever business, because they were going to try to keep the same model. That's out the window now, so now everything's going to auction. That includes building, everything. So it's different than
it includes building.
Different than Oregon Express, because Oregon Express doesn't include the building. But talking with them a couple Fridays ago, they're doing their process. I know a few people, or a few different groups of people that have talked to them about that, and they're just doing they're not in a rush. They're not being forced by anything. It's just it's time to hand over the reins.
I think I don't know the people you're talking to, but I do know that Kramer's has improved dramatically, and I believe that ownership group could probably buy Tanks and do well.
It always depends on their throughput. Do they have all their good people in place? It says front of house versus back of house.
That's true.
Because getting in, I went to Barrel House and I was greasing the wheels with them a little bit on Friday before the preview party, which I'll get into my review for that. A big Oktoberfest preview, a big beer drinking event here in the Dayton area. The people at Barrel House already got smacked by the decision in the process with Tanks. I did find
Gobsmacked?
Gobsmacked.
Why them specifically?
Just because of what that meant to that neighborhood and kind of the hallmark it was, and the fact that some of those disclosures. I mean, no one would argue, and this is a little inside pool, that the quality of service went down after Tank passed away and it was handed over. So there's.
I wouldn't say the quality of service. I would say. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Their staffing went down. Their numbers went down. So that that leads to quality of service.
The wait times increased so much.
Quality
and
of service.
It wasn't because of the death of Tank. It was hiring's really hard right now.
But he passed away pre-COVID, so even then, and talking to there's people that boycotted that place once Tank passed away because of the decisions that the wife made. So anyways, but again, the hallmarks, great dive bar, great breakfast, great being Mexican, is it gourmet? Absolutely not. But the fact that you could go and walk and go get your own beer and you felt but
it's
empowered like that.
It doesn't need to be it's it has the Bourdain versus Gordon Ramsay feel. It's a hole in the wall that has great food. Doesn't have to be gourmet.
Yeah.
And it's fun because you got the girly on, you could rib each other, and they actually had a really nice menu.
So I did find a replacement. I don't want to go all Guy Fieri and the
three cooks in a 2-minute span.
Yeah. But with there is another alternative. They open at 6:00 every morning. It's called the Sugar Guild.
Ooh.
It's at the Red Carpet Lounge or Tavern. It's right on Wayne, so it's right in the same area.
Oh, no shit.
Amazing. That is more of an upscale breakfast. You would never know by looking on the outside of the place. But beer, everything. Dee Dee and the staff got to meet with them last Friday. Amazing.
You've been having a lot of meetings.
Amazing people.
Are these scheduled meetings?
Sat and talked to them ad hoc.
Nice.
Sat and talked to them. The other ones later just happened just because of who was present and just the conversation that was there.
Your personality.
Talking about the local area.
Love it.
And then finally, before we need to get to the beer, is the Dayton Art Institute, DAI, their Oktoberfest, their preview party happened, which is, again, a hallmark beer event. I would put in the top 5 for the area. Their beer, they had their craft beer truck open. Again, it's all you can drink for the admission. You had the normal Oktoberfest Marzen type beers, Miller Lite, Drudge, and stuff like that. But it was amazing. The selection and the fact that they decided to have what they call collectively the bottle shop there. So that's not included in all you can drink, but it was a pretty solid selection. Again, they tried to keep it to 20. They have a couple of ciders and meads or whatever to appeal to those individuals, but it was back on the upswing after a couple of years of underwhelming selections. Not really awe-inspiring where I'm going to spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
I thought this, I looked from the corner here. I thought, oh, how dare you bring wine and Kugels?
There's not a chance you've ever had this. Oh, I was going to get up and get it.
Oh,
thanks for doing that. Lots to still talk about, but we're done talking about things. That's it. No more talk. So we're just going to silently drink this beer. So the first week of my 2-week absence, I went to just south of Richmond, Virginia, to a conference, an Army conference, to do some talking about data science.
Wow.
But on the way home,
you really sold it.
Well, if you guys are interested in data science, check out my data science podcast called the Data Science Crew podcast. It's not real. Don't look that up. There might be someone who's like, holy shit, I gotta hear that. And they look it up and are so disappointed, That's basically what I hear all day. Except, that's like the typing of like a woman who has like long nails.
Oh yeah, click clacks.
Yeah. So on the way there, it took us through West Virginia. And on the way back, we also went through West Virginia, but we went a different route once we got to Virginia, where we didn't pass Monticello. On the way home, we did. And because we had time, we decided to stop. And by it was myself and another data scientist. We traveled together.
Wow. Just
in the car. It was instead of flying, which
just amazing conversation, huh? Just two data scientists in a car.
You want me to go into it? Well, let's crack the beer before we do that. Before we get into all that, there was a lot of great conversation. I basically have a PhD now. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So data science is a field.
It's a bottle. You got it.
Cheers. Is a field that a lot of people arrive to from other fields. And so the guy I was traveling with, he's a PhD in, particle physics.
Okay.
Fucking smart guy. So we talked a lot about, like Einstein's theory of relativity and shit on the way. And you think it'd be boring to do that, but no, my mind was blown the whole trip. It was crazy. This guy's so smart.
You said Monticello.
Yeah, is it Monticello?
I was going to ask you if they Ohioized this beer. So it's Monticello.
It is?
But I wanted, here it's called...
I figured because...
It's spelled Russia, but they call it Rushi.
Right. Well, I figured...
Do they Ohioize
I called it Monticello there, and no one corrected me. I figured because it was... This is Thomas Jefferson's home, and because, he has...
Is it Thomas Jefferson's home? Like where he's...
Yeah.
Okay, then it's Monticello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I figured because it would be derived more from like a European flavor.
Oh.
That the C would be a CH, but I don't know. I've heard both. So let's call it Monticello for now. And if someone has a better correction, please correct it.
Yeah, if you have a better correction, go ahead and keep that too. So.
Put that in the comments. We need the comments. We want them. We don't need them. We want them.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, because people are commenting on it. 250 views last week on last week's episode.
Guess who's back?
Yeah, right?
All right. This is Mountain Ale, and it is from... let me find the brewer here. I had it, and I lost it. It is from... let's see. Blue Mountain Barrel House. Man, that's hard to see. Blue Mountain Barrel House, and I like that they don't feature their brewery super prominently on the bottle, because I actually bought this at Monticello in their gift shop. I saw it, I was like, gotta get it. It has real Monticello honey from so the garden that Thomas Jefferson, well, let's be clear here, the slaves, or what do they call them at the actual facility? Enslaved people, I think is how they refer to them now. They don't just call them slaves, which I think is more respectful. So the enslaved people of his property had this beautiful garden.
Half of which were his lovers.
Well, just at least what they reveal was, I wish I would have remembered her name. But there was one in particular. He had like 6 kids with her. There's so much. I learned like so much. Did
they use their hands in this brewery?
I would guess that...
I did make that Oma Gang joke.
Yeah, no, I heard it. And you missed an opportunity.
I missed a lot of things.
Well, there was some... You were reading from the website, and it said something about, like, from the hand of something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, you should have followed up with that hand thing. The hand joke. Anyway, 100 episodes of content, you said.
On such a roll.
So the enslaved people kept this garden to where the whole property could be self-sustaining, including the people who lived in the main house, and all of the enslaved people could eat and drink from things grown on site. So
they grow pizza on site?
Did they eat a lot of pizza back then?
Oh yeah. Domino's.
Yeah, well, there's a Domino's down the street. They used to probably get that delivered. Yeah,
they used to have it
delivered. They used to send a courier with their order by horse, and he would go deliver it to Domino's, and then Domino's would send the pizza back on the horse. It only took 6 hours. So after Thomas Jefferson died, the property was sold to another family who was just preserving it for. They knew it was going to be a historic site. They preserved it. And then I think the state of Virginia might have bought it from them. And the garden was in disrepair. But they have since restarted the garden. There's a bunch of vegetables that are grown there now as they were grown back then. So it's just like Carillon, if you're familiar with Carillon in Dayton. They do everything old school style. And I think a lot of the people who work there still even wear 1780s, 1790s garb.
Almost like a Ren Fair.
Yeah, like a Ren Fair or like Carillon Brewery. You know, they don't do like a whole fair, but they have like one task: grow this kale. Yeah. A lot of kale, tons of kale. Couldn't believe how much kale there was there. And they do it, you know, they garden similar to how they did back then. I don't know, using like reapers and stuff. You know?
Interesting.
I don't know how to use
I love history.
Yeah, I love history too. So you should go to this place. It's awesome because Thomas Jefferson also commissioned the Lewis and Clark expedition, which as geographers we are fond of because that really opened up the floodgates of the mapping world. At least beyond Europe and Africa and Asia were pretty well mapped by then. But boy, North America sure wasn't. And so there's a lot of Lewis and Clark stuff there. A lot of cool globes, a lot of cool maps that have incomplete picture of the 1790s, basically.
Yeah.
Really cool place.
Because not too much was known west of the Ohio River Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all the maps that Thomas Jefferson had up until about 1800 were all anything that was west of, I'd say, maybe Ohio was all native tribes. Mm-hmm. Just no states, just this is the territory of this tribe. So that's pretty cool. I want to buy that map. But they now have bees on site and they grow their own honey. So this beer is infused with Monticello honey. Long story short. Great, cool place. I know that Thomas Jefferson's controversial now, but you know, people say, and as a historian you might have an opinion on this. When you look at history, yes, there are people who have poor moral values as by today's standards, but that doesn't mean that Thomas Jefferson wasn't a founding father and didn't have an influential impact on America. He did, certainly.
Yeah, after Benjamin Franklin, he had the best ties with Europe, and those, even though we had the tumultuous times of the War of 1812, those still really came into play. Both predating the signing of the Declaration of Independence and then going forward from there.
Yeah, and the first draft was Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
Benjamin Franklin with the editing, John Adams editing. It's like a proposal season in early America.
Interesting.
Your pink team, Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
By himself.
It sounds like he got a lot of pink team.
Red team. Well, yeah, we'll have to ask him.
Oh, yeah. Hey, TJ, what's going on?
But I also noticed that there was a lot of pictures of himself there. Do you? And I guess that back then they didn't have cameras, so a painting of yourself would kind of just be like putting pictures of yourself up in your house. But they weren't like family portraits. They were just of him. Do you think that's narcissistic?
No, because that's just what you did to demonstrate your wealth to other people. Because you'd walk in, that was like one of the hallmarks of... They didn't have like an ice box or something, if you will. So that to do artwork, and also it made a house feel more warm or whatever than having just a bare wall.
Oh yeah, there are tons of pictures everywhere, even of his friends, Ben Franklin, George Washington. Also, and so now coming back to beer, huge beer cellar, awesome. And the fireplaces at Monticello have dumbwaiters just wide enough for bottles.
Interesting.
And so they had a wine cellar and a beer cellar.
Yeah.
And there would be an enslaved person who literally just, their whole job was to sit down there during parties. And as the dumbwaiter was lowered with an empty bottle, they'd have to send one up with a full bottle. And it was on the side of a fireplace. Amazing stuff. Cool place. And I love history just as much, even though I'm not, formally educated in it. So that's that. This is called Mountain Ale.
Monticello
Mountain Ale.
Yep.
Very mountainous region.
From
Awesome.
Blue Mountain Brewery. I was just going to clear the name up.
Thank you.
What
did I say?
So Mountain Ale from Blue Mountain Barrel House.
That's what it says on the side.
Yeah, so that's the name of the physical location, but it's Blue Mountain Brewery, and this is a Monticello Mountain Ale.
Thank you for saying that.
Technically a table beer. We'll have to look into why it's a table beer.
What does that mean?
What it's classified as.
Filtered through tables?
So like table wine, sorry Stacy, is something that you could just put very approachable. It just sits on the table or whatever. It's not. It doesn't have to maintain a temperature or whatever. It's just
cool. Yeah.
And I'm guessing that, and that's just a guess.
Okay.
So.
All right. So I've talked a lot. And,
so those were just my. So I was looking it up on Untapped just so I could document it. I had a difficult time finding JT in Untapped, so I thought he deleted it as a ongoing joke. He didn't.
You know what? While you're talking, let me go ahead.
There we go. I'm gonna carry this. So this beer doesn't offer a lot of anything extravagant besides the story. The interesting thing is the honey mellows out the grain and malt build. Mm-hmm. So if you are turned off by the yuck factor of beer, because there's a lot of people that do that are just like, oh, it's just gross or whatever, that honey mellows this out. So like not like a mead, because a mead is a predominant factor, or like people like honey vice. The difference with honey vice and this, I bet there's more honey per parts than there is in a honey vice, which is a Leinenkugel's beer. And anyone that will tell you is they put 5 gallons of honey in it for every 10,000 gallons. So it's so diluted, it's a gimmick. And I always say have a gimmick, and a lot of people are fooled. And even growing up 20 years ago, people are like, oh, honey vice, it's so sweet or whatever.
It is.
It's a gimmick. So this could be a gimmick. I think it cuts it a little bit and it mellows it out. Kind of that unappealing yuck factor. Off the top rope, I'm going to give this a 3.75. It got a 0.25 from the story and everything like that. I will openly admit because that, again, stories are fantastic.
I had not considered giving it extra points for the story.
I just the self-sustaining or whatever, the fact that it came from a historical place, cool. Multi-use or whatever, and even if it's just adjacent or whatever, that's all that matters. But yeah, way to live up the gimmick. I would be interested just because of the location and their desire to self-regulate a lot of the locations of the ingredients. I would put this on a list of things I would like to try again as far as breweries. But this beer in a couple of months, probably not, outside of the story. If you just say the Thomas Jefferson beer, I'm going to know this now.
You'll know it, yeah. So it's the Thomas Jefferson beer. Now, I agree with what you said about the honey. It mellows things out. It does leave an aftertaste, a sweet aftertaste. Well, you know what? I forgot. Let's get some theme music going here. There it is.
You turned it right. You did turn it right.
I did?
Yeah.
Mountain Ale.
Even I jacked it up the last.
Oh man.
There was the one thing I wanted to show. I was like, JT has all 4 beers. We hid them, so we could fool you, the Chuggalo, into thinking that he wasn't here. But
the turning isn't so that you could like read it like a teleprompter. The turning has always been just to show you the can.
What?
That's it. So if someone has a problem with the direction that I turn.
You're gonna ask me a bunch of questions? Is that?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna ask me a bunch of questions. So.
Who is that segment brought to you by?
This segment is brought to us by Chuggalo. Steph?
probably could be. He's got more beer he wants to drop off.
Okay. Or Todd. How's Chuggalo Todd doing?
He's on the upswing.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. So if anyone has ever driven to Virginia,
I have.
from this side of the Appalachian Mountains,
Yeah, from Wisconsin.
just amazing drive. Awesome drive. I would suggest going through West Virginia.
Did you go through like the
instead
little bit
going
of
through
West
Pennsylvania
Virginia
and stuff?
going into like Pennsylvania? Yeah, so like
We didn't go through Pennsylvania. We went West Virginia almost the whole way. It's probably the best drive. It makes you realize that maybe America isn't full of houses and track subdivisions and stuff. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Just checking to make sure.
Yeah,
that would have been rough.
I
That would have been a rough redo. Just awesome drive. Mountains everywhere, and the greenest drive you'll probably ever take. It's awesome.
And that's the bottom line.
So the can art is reminiscent of that, just the hills. It's kind of like at maybe a dawn of the day.
It's the conclusion of Last
'Cause
Mohicans.
It's blue. It's
when
got a lot of blue.
Chingachgook.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie.
What?
I need to see it. I know it's like one of the greatest movies.
It's my favorite movie of all time.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I don't think we've ever covered that.
I'll be watching it in the next couple of weeks. This is the season.
I'm
I like
gonna
to
watch it now.
It's a fall movie.
Okay. Well, this has that feeling that you're driving through West Virginia or Virginia at night, or right as the sun's going down. It's amazing, or coming up. I guess this would be more of a sunrise than a sunset. I don't know.
The waning or waxing light of the day.
But yeah, I guess like it doesn't matter. Locally grown with Monticello honey. So I didn't buy this beer because of the can art. I bought it because it was beer at the gift store at Monticello. So let's just put that to rest.
This is the first bottle that we've had. Each had a bottle. We've had. So
Yeah.
I was going to ask you because I found out that my wife prefers to drink her favorite beer from a bottle. I was surprised by that. But do you prefer? Because we haven't talked about in hundreds of episodes. Bottle.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Every once in a while, I just like to do the.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
The little easy kind of pour.
I did just have a double deuce
Great question here.
a couple weekends ago. I just drank it straight from. There's going to be a bunch of purists out there. Go fuck yourselves. Like
Yeah,
I don't like to drink everything from I don't want to dirty it.
Yeah,
It's already it comes in a glass already.
This is the I don't know. I get it. The glass can sometimes bring out some of the essence.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's purists out there like proper glassware or whatever, and we have brothers and sisters in the beer podcasting realm that will always say proper glassware. I'm the opposite side of it.
This is a really tough question.
I'm trying to buy you time.
Yeah, no.
I've got another story,
I
too.
could keep talking through my thought process, but I think I'm on the can. I like cans. And can technology, the purists might be like, "Oh, you're an idiot." But
Yeah, now that
can
liners.
technology has changed. The liner's in there, and it's not. And I think I haven't really cellared cans, so I couldn't say how that process would work, but.
I've got a couple. Cellaring right now.
From a perspective, and it keeps light out. That's what you want to do is keep the light out. From the perspective of just drinking, I like the can better. Just drinking by hand, I don't want a glass. And
Pint glass is like the least of. I don't like it.
Yeah, so can. But I do like that this is in a bottle because it's coming from a historic place and they don't have cans back then. 5.5%. And the honey does kind of mute the wheat and the malt. It has an aftertaste that's sweet and malty, almost like a non-pure pilsner, kind of like a fruit pilsner maybe.
A pilsner with adjuncts.
With adjuncts, yes. But the honey is prevalent. My biggest complaint with honey beers is typically that you can't taste honey. It just tastes like sugar. This actually does taste like honey, which I really like honey. I'm a buyer of honeycombs. I think that's a great snack. Just a little tiny square. You're good for hours. This beer is a 3.5 though because it is kind of just standard. I wouldn't put this above. Now the 0.25 for the story is kind of a good idea, but
if I would have told you the story, would have got the 2.5. But you already knew it, so maybe that's why.
I wonder if there's a bias there when I feel like you've gone through some effort to get the beer, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm biased towards the score. But no, 3.5. I think that a historic place needs to sell a historic beer. You need to Carillon Park it up. If you're listening from Monticello, look up Carillon Park. They do it right. Carillon Brewery. They do things like really weird and awesome, authentic. Not weird in a bad way. That's what this beer should be. And I think it would give it a better story.
The interesting thing, the one beer thing I want to say is, so I was setting up for the podcast before you came and I forgot to, I found, I was hooking up all the equipment and the microphone cable was broke and it's not a proprietary, I forget the end on the end of this cable. And my daughters had just played with it enough that it broke. So I'm glad I had a backup and then I ordered one so I have a backup. No, it's like a trapezoid. It's not a square USB.
Oh, yeah, those are like the micro USBs.
Yeah, it might
old
be
school, from the old.
It is, much older. So I'm glad this is the original one, but I was using the high because this one's got a little bit of a bend in it too. But
all right, this next beer, I hope elicits a comment because I've had this beer in my fridge for a while, and I've been trying to figure out where I got this beer or who might have given it to me. And I cannot remember for the life of me whether I bought this beer or not.
After drinking this feels like 100 pounds.
Oh, doesn't it? It's very heavy. And it might be because it's like, heavy.
No. Did you know that, maybe I said this, the flat rate postal box that we all know and love, it says that you can't put more than 78 pounds in it.
No, I didn't know that.
I knew
that there was
even if you packed it full of lead or the densest, it's still, or Cronundum is the most dense, widely available substance on Earth. Even if you packed it with as much would fit in there, it still wouldn't get to 78 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like that much mercury would be very heavy. But not 78 pounds. That's pretty interesting.
But that's what, the box on the flat.
Yeah, the little square one.
Yeah, I've deployed multiple times. You and Caterade have sent me those are the boxes that
I know what you're talking about. I feel like I could get 78 pounds. I feel like this is a challenge. So this is Mason Ale Works remote viewer. If you gave me this beer, I feel like I did buy this beer, but if you gave me this beer, let me know because I can't remember.
Mason Ale Works. Okay. We'll have to.
All right.
This one's primed.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. So the only reason why I'm mentioning that is because I've had it for a while, and I've been holding it in my fridge for a while saying, like, okay, I'm not going to do this on the podcast because someone gave it to me, I think I did actually buy this beer myself. It's from San Diego, and I think I got it in Chicago. But maybe I didn't, and if I didn't, I'll admit that I was wrong.
And
I'm like, why should I keep this in my fridge and just keep guessing on who gave this to me? I'm going to bring it on the podcast.
It would have been Chuggalo Mom or Chuggalo Sister if it...
Well, if it was from Chicago, I would have bought it.
Neither one of those.
But if they sell Mason here, then it could have been Stab. It could have been anybody.
I haven't seen it. So there's... these are two of your sweet spots with... It's obviously peach.
Yeah. Right. It seems like a beer I'd buy.
And vanilla, yeah. Right, it's peach and vanilla, right?
Though I've given up on peach.
Sorry, Stacy. But there's people out there. By the way, that breakfast joint, the other couple that was eating, she was having a bleach. And I was like,
Oh, they have that there?
Oh, yeah.
Smart. That is high class. That is a high class breakfast place. So they have like
Eggs
Benedict and stuff.
Well, that's always my go-to breakfast.
That's your go-to breakfast?
Yeah, and they have it. When I originally looked at it, it looked like a lot of carby waffle pancake type stuff, and I don't want that for my breakfast. I want savory, and I'm glad that they had that.
There's this place on Brown Street called like the Egg Yolk or something, and that's what it's like. They at the front, you're like, oh, this is like a nice light breakfast place. You go in there, and the whole menu's just like pancakes and waffles, and there's like 5 tables. You need to have more tables. So
why do they bury the ABV on these? Buddy?
Why do they bury the ABV? So
again, we've had a run of these.
Mason Ale Works.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look this up because I can't find it either. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. So that's the story there.
I mean, you're busy.
I was listening.
I'm gonna take 0.25 off that.
Shit.
I'm gonna take 0.25.
The star of this show was supposed to be the Mountain Ale.
That was supposed to be the star?
Yeah.
You think that beer was going to be better than this?
No, the story's better.
Oh, yeah.
Mason Ale Works? I haven't fucking been to Mason Ale Works. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're all Masons, and here's the story. Let's predict what the story is. They are former Masons, and they were like, let's brew beer. Boom. That's the story. Probably. One of their names is probably Brett, or maybe Sebastian or something.
Sebastian.
So he's probably got a mustache that curls. It's okay. If that's San Diego, that's what it is. It is what it is. I'm
trying to look it up real quick.
Do you like that phrase? It is what it is?
No, it's like my bad.
Me neither. And I've heard it so often lately so I told my wife once, like maybe a month ago, I said, I don't like the phrase, it is what it is. And since then, I've heard it a bajillion times.
Because now it's on your, the front of your memory.
There's a name for that. There's a word for that. I don't know what it is. But Mason Ale Works is, like I said, is out of San Diego. And I think that San Diego is a great city. A very underrated city. People shit on San Diego because it's in California. But it is not like the other California cities. It is its own thing. It's better than the other California cities. The Gas Lamp Quarter, great.
Isn't it the Gas Lamp District?
Maybe District. I don't fucking know.
What would you guess for booze in this?
Let me take another sip. And it is a sour double hazy India Pale Ale with peach and vanilla. Based on it being a double, I'd say 7.
Yeah, 9.5.
Damn. I might not be able to drink the whole thing. No, and I don't want to come off as a pussy, which I did already to Matt earlier because of something we'll talk about. But I do have to coach a baseball game after this. So we'll just lead with that. So anyway, San Diego, great town. And as far as new as California is to the Union, lots of history there. And when I say new, I'm talking like mid-1800s.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm not saying like 1900s or anything. It's not Alaska. But, they got the Midway. They have a lot of World War II history there because, San Diego was prime launching off point for a lot of the...
Liberty ships.
Yeah. Just awesome.
12 days to
awesome
build a
town.
ship. Incredible.
Awesome town.
So you want me? You're done with
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We'll catch up on Mason Ale Works out besides San Diego. It sounds like there's something neat there, but a lot of those JT hit it perfectly. Some guy named Brett. A lot of them have the same story. They started in a garage somewhere. Probably 2008 to 2011.
Yeah, somewhere or 2018.
I don't like this is. I wish this would pick another fruit besides peach. Off the top rope. Oh God. A double hazy IPA sour that does a great job of amalgam. This is going to be in the Hall of Fame for sour IPAs. For me, off the top rope, I'm going to give this a 4.5. I want more of this. I want this recipe to be paired with other fruit. I think they have something here. I like the body of it. We were talking about the weight of it, maybe compared to the bottle, maybe compared to the Miller Lite, the warm-up beer, or whatever. There's something here. And if they pair this with other things, I would pay money to have it shipped because this could be a great morning beer. It could be a great afternoon snack beer, and this could be a great into the evening beer. The reason the peach comes out, it's like those peach flexible candies, like the giant Lifesavers.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Which aren't very off-putting, but they're not like the S-tier type candy for me. Off the top, I really dig this beer. Sorry, Stacy. It could be so much more, though, with just a different fruit. Maybe even apple, Stev. Doing a callback and an outshout to a couple episodes ago.
Loved all the
He did give me a list of apple beers to try.
Yeah, so as much shitting on
This
like
is so
this origin story that we never looked up that we did, yeah, the beer I think it will make up for it in the review. But here are the names of the individuals.
Is one of them Brett? You said Brett.
It would be great if it was a Mason Ale Works is led by Grant.
You should have said somebody with facial hair, like
definitely. I mean, come on, man.
Are
Like,
those artistic
he's gotta
renderings?
have a beard. I think it is, it's a filter, like a Snapchat filter that turns you into a cartoon. Grant.
I've had Mason. They're cider. It's a black can with bold letter.
They're
black
big
letters.
on like Mexican beers and stuff.
Oh god.
But here's the thing: is that they were established by a hospitality group, which kind of kills it.
Kills the vibe.
I mean, it totally kills it. But here's the staff: Grant, Tyler, Taylor, Caesar, and Nick. 4 names out of the 5. Totally Brett. All Brett. Right? All of those names are Brett. Caesar's the only unique non-Brett name. No offense.
Caesar's the Latin bread.
Because, yeah, what you've done is better than a Brett. You're not phoning it in. Here's the Canada Bonus segment brought to you by At Least Steph, maybe Todd. At Least Steph, maybe Todd, Chuggalo Mom, maybe Nicole. Who knows? It's an amalgamation. Yeah, great name for it would be At Least Steph. Would be a great episode name. So there seems to be a collaboration here with Solaris Beer and Blending. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe they make mixers for old fashions or something. But in this beer, so as much as we've joked about Mason Ale Works, and it's not because we're like over it and like, oh, all these breweries are the same. It's just I didn't do the research and we wanted to make a joke, okay? But it turns out that maybe we were right. It's a hospitality group, but there are real people behind the beer, and to them,
it's not robots. They have hands.
Yeah, and to them, I'm sorry if you're offended by that. But what you've done with this beer, I think it's amazing.
Royce came back this last episode too.
Royce came back?
Yeah, he didn't like the 2 episodes we outshouted him. Now, I think he's being cheeky.
Maybe he didn't listen to those.
God, it's just so random then.
Yeah.
Maybe
he reads the descriptions.
No, because I didn't.
That's how I choose my Joe Rogan episodes based on.
That's a 3-hour, 4-hour
I don't just
commitment.
listen to all the Joe Rogan episodes. Some of those episodes are fucking boring as shit. Anyway, what you've done with this beer, I disagree with Matt in only one aspect of that, is that this needs a fruit. I think this beer's almost the perfect sour base. Now, disagreeing about it needing a fruit doesn't mean that I'm disagreeing that it could use something else, or that, I mean, if you did the, like, this is, I don't know if this is a bad thing to say, but like what they did with the Black Lives Matter beer is that they sent the same recipe off to like a ton of different breweries. If you sent this recipe to a ton of different breweries and just were like, this is your base sour IPA, holy shit.
With it being a double.
Magic shit with this beer. Like,
yeah.
This is basically...
This is how I would send it too. This is your base.
This is your base.
All of
about
your
that base.
Yeah, all your base belong to us.
All your base belongs to us. Basically,
see what he did there? Basically.
See what it is? It's called a segue. What you have done here... I lost my train of thought. This beer's really good. I wish I could remember what I was thinking. But I just feel like maybe you've created the I don't know the right word here. It's not quintessential. It's like the standard, but a better, more elegant word for that.
Benchmark.
You've created the benchmark for sour IPAs here. I think that if every brewery worked off of this and then
sorry, Stacey. This is like that tall grass half pipe, which we've never been able to find.
I mean, if you can give this to breweries, I think that if you fuck this up, you're obviously a shitty brewery. If you succeed, I mean, you should succeed, because this beer is a beer that sets you up for success. It's so good. Holy shit! I wish I would have done this first. Only because I don't know that I'll finish the whole thing. It's 9%. I have to do baseball. But
yours is only 3%. I checked yours.
oh, okay. I'll drink
It's
the
a
whole thing.
different.
That's good. Yeah.
It's a different one.
So the can art, which I showed but didn't talk about, is a. I'm not sure if there's anything really in here that I'm not reading it up on, but
You're slipping on the camera.
it's like a marble. It's like a purple and black marble pattern, like as if your countertops were purple and black instead of white and gray.
Yeah.
Now, purple and black also has near and dear to my heart because of the Shark Tank episode of I Think You Should Leave. And in that, one of the women comedians, she's addicted to wine, and she said when she looks in the toilet, all she sees is purple and black, because she drinks so much wine and poo. Well, she doesn't drink the poo; she poos. I'm guessing. It's a inference. So the can art, that's the can art boner segment, brought to you by perhaps at least Steph, maybe Todd, Juggalo Mom, and Nicole. I don't know. That's the whole thing, and maybe Dave too. I want him to be included in this as well with all the stuff he's provided. Remote viewer. On the tongue, sweet, sour, little bit of bitterness from the hops. I don't need to know what the hops are, and I think that they did a service to this beer by not listing them, because it doesn't matter. The star of this beer is the sourness. It hits on the back of your tongue as well as the front. It makes you salivate, makes you want this beer more. I mean, I would probably, if in a fridge like Matt's where it's got a ton of variety, I might even return to the same beer. If I had this as my first beer, I might just grab a second one because it's that good. I think this beer sets the tone for sour IPAs. I don't think I can give. Even though I think you can make it better if you're a good brewer, I still think this is a 5.0 because of what it represents to sour IPAs. It's the best of the sour IPAs I've ever had, period. Full stop. Now.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Now that it is we're in the throes, the hump and the
Penultimate.
not penultimate, not yet. We're in the traffic jams of September. This is the 5 o'clock rush hour of September. I think we're in the we're coming on down to October, but because we're still in September, we got Oktoberfest, and I wanted to play a little game called Oktoberfest in an Alternate Universe, where I want you to think about anything that rhymes with Oktoberfest, and then just dialogue, even for a short time, about what that might be like. And I'll give you an example of what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is a festival that's held once a year where we all brewers who brew an Oktoberfest style beer change the recipe to have it filtered through socks. Whether dirty or clean, doesn't matter. That's Oktoberfest. I have one more example that I'd like to give you. Not to take anything from what you might be thinking, but Stocktoberfest. And this is actually my favorite. This would be my favorite holiday of the year if it was real. It's where everyone wears non-branded clothes. Then we shoot stock photos while everyone drinks Oktoberfest beer. That's Stocktoberfest. So those are the examples. And I'd like to see what the creative mind of Matt could come up with.
Okay, the first one I came up with is blood-stained wedding dress, which rhymes with Oktoberfest. And what that is...
I guess it kind of does.
Boom. It's the first thing I thought of.
It kind of does. Blood-stained wedding dress.
And that's going to be a 3-part movie series where a scorned lover loses her spouse on her wedding day and seeks revenge against those, and the story devolves into a beer-drinking frenzy where she has to keep up with other individuals to get pieces of the pie to avenge her lost lover. Bloodstained wedding dress. And that rhymes.
Do you have any other ones that you might have thought of?
That's the first one. I was so enamored with that one.
So while you think of another one, that actually would be a really good party game. Listen, if you have So make like a clue.
Yeah.
That starts super hard, where the clues are like really difficult.
Yeah.
But they get easier as you go along. But you have to get drunker. That would be fun.
Yeah, that takes a commitment.
Because by the time you're like 7 beers in, the clues are like super simple. Like they're almost telling you what the answer is.
Yeah.
But you're so drunk that you don't know. That'd be fun. Think about it, people. Make that game.
Okay.
Open source it.
So then,
I'm not paying for it.
So then my other, so it rhymes with Oktoberfest, is Falcon Crest.
Yeah.
And basically it's saying
not the theme that I was going for, but I like where you're going.
That you drink beer to old 80s TV shows.
Yes.
That were popular, but come up with like alternate, like pause it at intervals, and the winner gets to drink. Otherwise, you're not allowed to drink. You have an open beer sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
If you're playing with like 5 or 6 people and you have an alternate between like, you know, what's going on between the protagonist and the antagonist, they get to drink.
Oh, I like that.
Otherwise, you're going to be parched for as long as you play. And you could have it at 30, 60, 90-second intervals.
I like that's a really creative.
Sorry, Stacey.
Much more creative than I thought you would come up with. So that's good.
I just had Mediterranean for lunch, and that's all I'm getting.
I love Mediterranean food. Very good food. I also thought maybe Cocktoberfest, which wouldn't be like what you think. It would actually be just Oktoberfest, but with free Chick-fil-A for everybody.
Oh, I see.
You see what I did there?
Cocktoberfest, yeah.
That's what I did there. Maybe Rocktoberfest, where all the cover bands must consist of at least one geologist. But they have to play rock music, obviously. But they have to have a geologist in. And that's about all I've come up with. They're all Oktoberfest based. So if you have a cool Oktoberfest in an alternate universe, put it in the comments. I mean, you could write a story in the comments. You don't have to just be quick about it. Comments, I don't know. Are they limited?
No,
Character-wise?
I've been staying on top of
I'll read them
responding to
all.
everyone. Yeah.
I'll read them all. So go ahead and put your
Interesting.
Oktoberfest in an alternative universe story below. Right there.
You getting your fill? We haven't been able to speak. Are you getting your fill of Oktoberfest or fall-inspired beers? No?
Yeah.
The 4 that you have to catch up on are all pumpkin-y or festy type beers, but different.
Yeah. I've been nervous. This is a good time to go into it. I had COVID in maybe July. Didn't know I had it. Tested negative.
COVID fest.
But I was sick.
Stay at home for a week.
I've had more than one beer, other than the podcast. I've had more than one beer on 3 occasions. And all 3 times, I vomited my brains out. And so I was wondering, like, why is this happening? I'm pretty good at drinking beer. Well, apparently one of the long-term side effects of COVID is that your
I'm pretty good at drinking
alcohol
beer.
tolerance is not good. So the last time you came over to the carriage house, the rest of that day was me puking, basically. Jeez. And we only had, 4 beers, maybe?
Yeah.
And that's unusual. I don't normally get sick off of 4 beers, regardless of maybe if it's like a 17% and all 4 of them are pretty high.
Yeah.
But like what we had should not have put me under like that, and I got worried, and I contacted my doctor because it was the 3rd time it's happened. The first time it happened, I had 6 beers.
Yeah.
And I puked 4 times the next day, which is the most I've ever puked in my life. Even sick, I don't puke that much. And he said, "Yep, long COVID."
Crazy.
So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not fucking my life up, you know. So I'm scared sometimes to drink a lot. I'm working back up to it. Got to build my tolerance back up. I'm like a teenager now. I'm getting hung over on no beer.
Unrelated note, we're going to do replace JT Fest. And I'm going to be taking applications.
That was important to bring up because the last time you came over, holy shit.
Producer JT.
I was really expecting my wife to be super duper mad at me. She wasn't.
Oh, because you wasted
Because
like
I
a good
was
day.
sick.
Yeah.
And she, you drank too much. But I was like, after like the second time I puked, I was like, I swear I had 4 beers. This is ridiculous.
We made quiche and Matt was gone before 10 o'clock. We didn't have that much to drink.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I should have been sick. Maybe nap worthy, but not puking. So Something happened. Something happened to me. I'm ruined.
It affects us in different ways.
It's crazy. I don't understand it. So
I'm Digital Bather, by the way, on YouTube. So if like you would like to apply, yeah, we're gonna have an opening soon.
No, we're good. You can still. We have fill-ins. I've been thinking that maybe, like, how do you guys feel about like camera movement? Do you feel like that might make people sick?
Well, it's a beer drinking podcast.
Like, I'm thinking maybe if let's say I'm going to a brewery. I haven't been documenting a lot of this stuff. It might be nice to show what does Branch and Bone look like.
Do your
to
shorts.
The YouTube view.
Do your shorts.
Yeah, I'll do my shorts.
Guy back home is killing it on his 1-minute videos of Wisconsin dive bar reviews. He keeps them super concise.
Yeah.
Things to think about.
1-minute videos just seem to do really well.
Or 34-minute long videos where I boom 250.
I thought those were great episodes.
I went into it thinking it was going to be 10-minute videos.
Well, I like that you did. I actually
So many
that
notes.
was one thing I did think about while I was listening to the last episode. Was I like that when you don't just go off the top rope. I mean, I know every time you say off the top rope,
Yeah.
but some of your reviews in the last 2 episodes have been quite long, and it's been enjoyable.
Yeah, I just like keeping it concise, giving the spotlight to those people that are much better with it than this guy.
No, I don't think so. The conciseness was good when there was 3 of us, and we had a third segment.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're good. We just do whatever.
God, I want more of that beer. That beer's delightful.
Well, you can have some of mine because there's no way I can finish this and still.
I gotta go to a soccer game.
Oh yeah, but do you have to coach it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're coach? You coach soccer?
Yeah.
What are the positions?
They're squares on the field.
I don't know anything about soccer. Literally
Forward
nothing.
squares,
Other than there's a goalie.
Back squares.
And Ted Lasso.
They do it for the little kids.
I know about Ted Lasso. That's it.
I'm not the coach, but I did sign up. But they said when they got my resume, they're like, we have enough.
Mm-hmm. They got your resume. You sent the whole resume.
Yeah, I really did.
That's awesome.
We might have. I want to keep the Chuggalos palate craving more of the BCP. Next week we may have a story because I don't think either of them listen.
Either of whom?
We might have a story where we bamboozle individuals at one of our favorite haunts coming up in a couple of days.
Yeah, yep. They might be bamboozled. They don't listen. Let's be honest.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be bamboozled. It'll be hilarious.
I can't wait.
Now, if things turn within the first 15 minutes,
Yeah,
text me.
I will.
And if you're like,
I'll
don't
leave.
come.
I will. We'll have a code word.
Yeah, just be like, don't come.
Yeah.
And say C-U-M.
C-U-M.
Don't do it.
Don't C-U-M.
All right. Well, that's episode 248. We're
We
dangerously close to 250.
We need an outro song like this.
Oh yeah, we should get an outro song. It should be like really, should be techno maybe.
Morose.
Rock.
Morose.
Ooh, morose. Maybe sad.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I started listening to Smart List, the podcast with Will Arnett.
Oh yeah, my
Jason
mom
Bateman.
listens to that.
Tell Mom, we can talk about it.
Yeah, you guys, because I don't listen to it.
I love their flow, but that's it.
I do like Jason Bateman. I think he's funny, and Will Arnett.
One of my favorite things is now they do clever ways to say, like, to conclude the podcast.
Oh,
they
do?
all they'll like start talking about like lifting weights.
So they kept it up.
Oh yeah, they're still going.
Post-COVID.
Yeah.
It's Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and who? Or Jason Bateman?
Sean Hayes.
Sean Hayes. Oh, from Will and Grace?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So one of the ways that they do it is they talk about weightlifting, and one of the muscles you care about is the
pecs. No, biceps, obviously.